Okay, so we're just getting down into the high risk area where they have a mesoscale discussion about very large tornadoes, damaging wind, and large hail. Heading on our way, maybe down to Galesburg. Um, Lost our connection with the server there for a minute, and our data yesterday and today has been just terrible. Oh man, and now yeah, yeah. Sorry, got a feedback loop going. Anyways, got some dude playing piano on YouTube. I don't quite get that. Just pause that, dude. All right, sorry about that. Just kind of trying to get everything back up and running. Our data, our router, I don't know. Definitely going to be buying a newer bonding system instead of relying so much on software. I do have a cradle point router with Sims, but in all reality, it's just when we get into areas where there are other people that are streaming, other people that are especially start to get a lot of cell phone usage looking at weather, and the towers just get dragged down, and your traffic gets minimized because they want to keep it open for emergency traffic. But pretty much from here on out, we're going to be in the tornado risk area here in about 25, 30 minutes. I can already see where the warm sector is. Probably not very visible to you on camera, but it's just been taking forever to get down here because of the massive amount of precipitation to get through. And I mean, there are places that closer to Dubuque, it looked like you were just driving into a cloud because there these those storms like really high base, but you're kind of going up and down into into the bluffs, and you're just like driving into a cloud, and there's like zero visibility, which doesn't bother me that much. I'm pretty used to driving in these kind of conditions. It's just, will the guy in front of you slam on his brakes because oh he can't see, or a little bit of like right now we're water skiing a little bit. Um, People in front of you, can they feel that in their vehicles? Do they know to back off? Do they know to slow down slowly? There's always sort of that risk of that other car. And so if I know, like if I get into an area where I'm really locking them up or having like some of the slushy hail here, if I'm in an area like that, I typically will turn on my hazards if I know the visibility is that low. And if it is where an emergency stop, I do have emergency lights in my back window, um, and do have some in my front window as well, but don't usually ever use those unless I'm sitting on some kind of active emergency. But it's an interesting lowering coming off of this leading edge storm here in Makatukasaw. I think that would be worth doing a severe thunderstorm warning for. Um, I mean, when I say the precipitation is amazing, I don't necessarily mean that in this is really a lot of fun way. So, anyways, as we get down closer to Eldridge, we're going to know a little bit where these storms might be going. Yeah, we're going to get into some really thick stuff, and I'm going to just opt to stay behind the semi because they are typically not going to lock on their brakes. Ooh, got an interesting lowering there. The storm looks like it's rotating. The storm is rotating. There's definitely a rotation here. Um, I don't know if it's moving enough that it would put something down, but it is definitely rotating. And with this amount of rain, this thing would get rain wrapped in a real quick hurry. Um, I think it's just a lot of scud moving around. There's nothing really well defined until you get on the other side of it. It looks a little ominous, but those fingers that are coming down there, um, it's scud, it's cloud material, and so what I'm looking for, what you're looking for, you can see the open skies behind it. That's really cool. Um, if that stuff starts wrapping around really fast, you've got a problem. But if you look right now, it's doing something like dropping scud bombs. So that means that it's just really like really outflowy, and it's just pushing that scud out. If you're looking for a tornado, you want to see it pulling that scud up into itself, and then you'll see kind of where like inflow would be. But we've got a couple of cells that are actually ahead of this line of storms that I think might be productive once we get to them. I just would say this is not, this is very high precipitation here. I don't see any kind of rapid movement, rapid rotation. I don't see like really any updraft anywhere. Just a lot of scud bombs here and there. So that doesn't mean that with the right time, with the right amount of wind, as some of those, as this boundary is hitting and this line is forming, when you get the right level of wind, yes, this is going to turn into a big windbag here. But I'm just looking at some of the stuff like down in Walton, and like these are going to be some of these storms that are coming ahead of this thing could really be dangerous. Even down there in Davenport is looking pretty interesting. So hopefully we can get through this and not have a ton of precipitation. Make sure we're not trying to set a world speed record here and get pulled over either. I do want to get past this and get into that higher risk area. I do not usually get this far south. So I'm a little uncharted territory for me. Usually flying down the other way towards Missouri, but well, they've got a warning. There's the warning down in Macomb. We're just gonna stay on. We're just gonna stay on this road. Is it 18? I think or 61. Yeah, we're 61 south. We're just gonna stay on it and just keep beating feet and see what we run into. Definitely, this storm is gonna form into a like a really big windbag. So straight line winds that are gonna come. Also, wouldn't rule out some of these other storms that are coming out ahead of this system. Hopefully, this will relent a little bit so we can make up some time. But man, if you can look at this, see if you can see this on the live stream or not. I'm gonna just tilt my camera and over just to look at the leading edge of this shelf here. Definitely take a look at this thing on velocities here. I'm gonna let this thing do its thing, but this thing could drop its own spin up here pretty easily. I'm trying to see where the radar is. I think that might just be positional on the radar, but it's definitely impressive. I'll give it that. And get up on the hill here and see if you can see it. It's pretty shelfy though. I'm not saying there's not rotation, but I'm saying we have to wait for another couple of radar scans because the last radar scan we got on this line is just messy, very, very messy. And I don't want to lose time chasing this thing. It does have a notch. I'll give it that. It's got one heck of a lowering, which is pretty awesome. And that radar scan still messy. We need a fresh radar scan here. There's a lot of in and out of winds here with this rain and thunderstorms. But we'll get a better look at it here. See the see, I'll give you over so you can see the base a little bit better. It's getting pretty heady over there. It has a nice lowering, so if this radar would ever refresh, we might be able to see if there's anything actually going on there. And so I think it's a distraction. Impressive shell. Still have not gotten a clean radar scan here. Massive amounts of precipitation. I think there's a storm ahead of us here. It's developing right out in front of this line that we're going to be looking at. There's, I mean, several areas where it looks imminent, like major imminent. But if this thing, if this line breaks, if the line were to break up, like it looks like it might do, we would be in for um, a major tornado outbreak, like a massive tornado outbreak. So we're still trying to get south. We'll let this line continue to develop. I'm just not getting a radar scan of this thing. It looks like it's breaking up to me. Just can't get a fresh strike plot. It's that short, you know. Sometimes lacrosse gives you a good, yeah, you can't see anything. This KDVN just put out a weird beam, showed a lot of rotation. Unfortunately, you can't see behind me. I'm not that technologically advanced. I'm, yeah, what do we have for a temperature here? Okay, so it's in the 10 degrees warmer, but it's not. So the dew point and temperature spread are not that far apart. So this thing could go bananas. I mean, it could go berserk fast. We got another tornado warning storm just to our south. So we're just going to keep punching south because I think that's our best opportunity is just to keep hauling south. We're entering that area where I'm just trying to I don't want to use and abuse the O word because some of these people are, but I'm definitely starting to see the development of supercells that tell me they're not, that this is a very volatile. This storm over by Macon, holy, yeah, that is, look at the clips. Oh, yeah, definite tornado um, to our south. That's one that we may be in line to intercept depending on the motion of the actual storm itself. Boy, that shelf is sure impressive. I wish I had a rear facing camera. I think this, yeah, people are taking notice of this event because got the Dominator out, got the Y'all Squad, got the Dow. To just see what happens if this line starts breaking up like this. I mean, man, I think getting in front down. We're gonna watch, kind of have to watch all of these storms around us when it's like this. Um, any of these little developing cells that can manage to stay discrete, um, the tops are going up fast. So any of these storms that can maintain their independence is going to be critical to see tornadic supercells. Now, I believe that line is very well capable of producing tornadoes. I don't want to get distracted by that shelf. I mean, that line is capable. There's no doubt. And there's just some sort of artifact in the reflectivity that makes it very difficult to see. Um, it's good to chase in this kind of environment versus Wisconsin, where I thought we were going to be. Illinois and Iowa, where it's very flat. Not that there are no trees, but my question is, can we get to this stuff fast enough? And why is this radar? Why is there so much junk? And there is just nothing else I can watch this line on. So, explaining what I'm talking about is the radar where I'm at definitely shows like there could be some rotation in that line. Anyways, as the radar is getting scanned, there's some artifact in the radar beam. And I'm actually just going right past. Going to be going right past the radar. Let's see what this new mesoscale discussion is. Galesburg. I think we're going to get to a point where gonna be crazy. Things are gonna go bananas. Another mesoscale discussion out there warning about this. I think this what's the name of this town? Peoria? Peoria's got a supercell forming. Macomb's got a very obvious supercell forming. Galesburg has got the beginnings of depending on mergers. In time, I suspect a major outbreak. Period. Man, I wish I would have had that extra 2 hours. I'd be in these things. I forgot that my adaptive cruise is not on. Davenport is in the Davenport is in the crosshairs. Man, this one down by Macomb is popping up rich. Confirmed tornado further south, Galesburg, I believe. A little hesitant to go so fast away from this line, but I gotta get south and probably east. Here it comes. Is my mast. I think I-80, that I-80 corridor. Yeah, this kind of weather is just exactly where it goes crazy. Wouldn't go I-80 east. Why west? Take me right to a circle. We're on 74. We get on 74 south, I think. Yes. Commenter asks, is it helpful to like and share? That is the biggest thing. Subscribe, like, share. That helps monetize this content. And obviously, most of you know fuel is not cheap. So that is our biggest need at this point. Um, don't do a lot of hotels. I was down in drove down to Missouri last night and drove back home. I don't know this. I think I want to go. I think I want to go I-80 East because I think this storm is developing a big hook on it. It's down. Prophetstown, I would say, needs to be aware. These radars were so empty right now. They're just not. Are they missing the hooks on these things? I mean, there's just supercells blowing up everywhere. Like a really HP going into profits zone. It's like a HP supercell right there. About 7 miles to make a decision here. I think I need to go I-80 West, honestly, and then go 74 South. I am going to go east on 80 and then hook up with 74 South. It gives us some time to watch what some of these storms do as they start to leave mom and grow their own wings here. Since we're kind of linear, and then it's these storms that are ahead of the line. That any of them that can root are going to be very, very capable of producing large tornadoes. Storm going pretty good down by Macomb, but thankfully it looks like there's a storm merger, so maybe it can go over town. Did anybody get back out in the open and then relaunch itself? Like there's two supercells just right on top of each other. So we've got an open opportunity right now to find our own storm. Was responding to a text message that whole time too. So that's cute. This environment, this storm coming into Davenport, even. This radar is something is funky. Is there anything else that can pick these up? I feel like that's a small station. It's going to see rotate. Well, there we go. I'll just get down to Galesburg and kind of see what things look like. And even some of these little tiny storms. Oh man, these cells are just everywhere, and they're supercells. I got a bunch of little bubblers that aren't doing anything, but it's just everything south of Davenport is just blowing up right now. The line behind me is starting to show a lot of rotation. This could be an event. And even these little bubblers have bases that are rotating. It's crazy. And need a little help from the National Weather Service to figure out where the tornadoes are because these little cells are just everywhere, just bubblers everywhere. I don't know how busy Davenport gets. These things are zigzagging all over. It's just crazy. So 80. I want to go 80. Now they're pushing this. I just want to go 80 and go east. And get my eye on this. Or even Davenport, I would keep an eye out here in Davenport. That's for sure. See why they're doing that. I'm gonna route you through 270. That's good. I can take a look at these storms while we're at it. Taking me over to wanted to kind of get a look east here. I'm gonna whip a quickie here. I don't know what this thing is thinking. These are starting rotating scud right above us. This is a supercell. Wish we had a radar that was healthy. And here, I just can't tell about rotation because I'm on top of the radar here. But this stuff is just going a mile a minute here, and there's bases everywhere. We just click around here. We go east. Smell that coming from a mile away. Any other way help me out here. No velocity. I got no velocity there. No way to look at velocity. You just can't see shit. Sorry. Bad word. Yeah, what I want to do, I don't know what this thing is trying to get me to do here, but I'm going to just take 80 to get across the river by LeClaire, and then just go 74 south. Galesburg. I'm going to have to punch through this precipitation and hopefully get somewhere where there's. I want to bail on this and get down south further. We got a ton of traffic coming in. Very small raindrops. We got to get further south. Keep forgetting my turn signal today. Very fine raindrops, and I got people like down to 40 miles an hour. Got a line of cars. Not gonna get through this freaking storm at Gotta get through this. These people are nuts. The storm that we're in is kind of going linear, very fine raindrops. I don't see any draft or rotation, so I need to get 20 miles east of here and get south, get down there. These little storms, if they kind of do a merger away from the main line, they could put down a tornado if it were to have some good merger. I think this storm, I don't know, it's just really hard to tell. There's a couple of these storms that have a lot better structure just further south. Just ice skating. We can get out of this precip. That would make me very happy. But we're going to be in it for a minute. I'm at 65, so we're really gaining about 30 miles an hour on this storm, maybe. Um, I really need to be going about 70, not 60. Yesterday, we had a couple of movers that were racing us and going about 80 and barely able to keep ahead of it as it was merging and expanding. But this storm right here that we're underneath, definitely has the capacity to cause some trouble. But I'm seeing some cells further south that are kind of discrete, and I think that they're a better bet. I think that this stuff is going to go linear into this line. Um, and we need, there's a lot of the stuff that's kind of doing that. So we need to get to one of these discrete storms with all of the conditions that we have today, and any one of them to go um, discrete. Never know on a road merger if the drainage is not going to be the same as your regular road. Sorry about that. That doesn't want to be on the road. It'd be really hard to get through this if people don't move it. And it is only 4:30, so these storms have time. They have conditions and they have time. and there's a lot of them. So inside of the radius that we're in, um, we can get on 74 east slash south, and those some of those storms that are just further south that are discrete, we can probably catch them as they're getting mature, and being get to a place where we can be on the southeast corner of those storms, a little bit better view of what's going on. You don't want to have a view like this, that's for sure. Um, which, given the conditions today and what could happen, is definitely frustrating to get stuck because you don't want to get stuck into something that starts rotating. But I just kind of, watch the trees around me, watch which way the rain's going, that sort of thing. I think we're going to punch out of this precipitation here pretty soon. Knock on wood. And I think we'll have convergence as we go south on 74. I think we're going to start to see the drive east from the storms, and hopefully we can get in a good spot before we get all the chaser traffic, because this definitely caused a buzz in a lot of threads and communities and things. So probably gonna have a lot of chaser traffic to deal with. So being a little late to the game, playing it a little bit more conservative because it's, you know 4:40. We've still got 3 hours of good potential. See there, we got our winds. We got our winds to start to fuel these storms here. Anyways, we've got 3 hours really to see what can happen here, and a lot can happen, and a lot can happen quickly. So there's going to be a lot of areas that are under the gun, but I still think Davenport is not out of the woods. And then as we get into Galesburg, Illinois, that's where that's kind of where I wanted to start anyways. But we'll just keep going south on 74, looking for any other storms that maintain their sort of their freedom or their independence from the main lines, and can stay discrete. I think the ones that we're going through right now, they're going linear very fast, so they're overconducting and just forming a line. And so you will get some tornadoes there. There'll be brief spin ups, QLCS, quasi linear convection system tornadoes. They're dangerous. They're tornadoes. You might get 100 mile an hour, 110 mile an hour tornado, or you might get 80 mile an hour uh, straight line winds. A lot of people really get concerned over whether they think there was a tornado or they think there was straight line winds, and it's like it doesn't really matter, because whether you get hit by 80 miles an hour in a circle or 80 miles an hour in a straight line, it's not great. Um, we're driving when we were down in just getting down to Missouri yesterday. Um, I saw a beautiful shelf cloud that forms, and it was this big wind bag of, like, I don't know, I think it was like 85 mile an hour plus. And I was like, holy smokes, like that's amazing. And anyways, I stopped and filmed it, which I'm glad I did because it was beautiful. But then also, as I was filming it, I decided to get back on the highway and go south because everybody was kind of converging down towards Missouri, even though that wasn't the original target. Um, that's where a lot of people decided to go. And so I decided to follow suit. And as soon as I got on the highway, there was a semi truck that was just knocked over like it was a toy. Um, just amazing. Again, people that get concerned about what kind of wind just turned over a semi. Like, was it a straight line or a circle? Who cares? Um, Same kind of damage can be done. We're going over the river here. Part of the reason that I want to be over here is because once you cross the river, See where we're going here. It's one of those things that comes into play very frequently, is the rivers. You want to keep that in mind. If we've got 70 miles an hour here, we can go. So that means we can go 75. Anyways, um, point being, a river can really end your chase in a not good way because you get stuck on one side of it or the other. You're like an iPad here, I suppose. I think I owe them money from the last time I drove through to Dixon. Maybe they'll come and take my money. Wow, the specificity of things. Logan, get a journal, Logan. You're just saying what I'm saying. All right, we just got to get it south, and we'll be in a good position here. Another couple storms. Yeah, that's definitely cyclone. Yeah, that thing's gonna rip. Um, and you're in the bullseye of what looks to be a supercell to me. Gotta get this thing going. Couple of these cells, but nothing super impressive. Hit this radar right now. It is showing some really big straight line winds on that line behind me. And close. Why is everybody? Where are these people going? I go 74 east. Why is everybody freaking out here? See a base there? What is that? Right there? You wouldn't know if it was rotating. You couldn't. That definitely has got a base to it and it's rotating. So this is what's all we're looking at here. That would be looking. How is that possible? I'm going south. I want to go down to this thing's got a hook forming on it. This is going to be a tornado. All right, we're on a good storm here. We just got to get off the dang road. This thing's going to go up quickly. I'm not where I want to be on the storm now. So my question is, if I drop down and go to 80, we should be able to catch it. Got a good lowering there. Let's see if I get my camera over there. Space is building. Let's get through these trees. Rivers, got all the rivers. Gensco. Gensco is going to need a tornado warning here. I would not say it's imminent, but it's growing teeth. Yeah, the hook just kind of fizzled on me. These storm mergers are really what's going to kill things. I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. Boy, if I could get a better radar look of this thing. Another look at this thing, nothing. Anything there? And KDVN is being a potato. It's an RFD from this little supercell here. See what this looks like when we get around it here. We want to go east or south. Staying separate though. A little bit of rotation, not much. We got rotation. This thing, if a merger doesn't kill it, this could be a really good storm. But I don't know. I see a lot of merger potential on the storm. Definitely not the right approach angle here, but base, who's turning? Is that going to be 80 now? Oops, wrong button. Why is this popping up? 80 would be actually the best approach. So I always cut off after I get off at 80. Things starting to rapidly rotate. I think we want to stay on this thing. I think we're going to have a tornado here. Recordings and see how it's about as far as possible. Rock Island. Just gonna pull it out here and see if I can keep an eye on this thing. See what our next exit is here. Bro, storm chaser that is being a total idiot. And cars that are being dumb right now. These things are just slamming into each other. Too much of a mess. Yeah, this is dumb. Just get turned around here. Tom's definitely got like the OG kidney bean. It's a lot cleaner base. It's just, I think it's gonna. I think these are all just merger murders here. We gotta just get south. One to the southeast is definitely getting to be tornadic. We got a big line here, big starting to form a big shelf. It's gonna ingest all these little storms into this line. And I want to get turned around, and it's like on and on and on and on here. See if there's a south option coming up here anywhere. Just turn around here. So the next one that I can. No U-turns. You know, my next exit is not for forever. Some stuff like this that you lose your storm, and everything just wants to go linear so bad. The exit here. This thing is just going to give us some big gust of wind and some hail here. Murder. There's rotation here, but again, this is just can't. Nothing can stay discrete today. Just a bunch of windbags. Hail. It'll take 5 minutes to turn around. Only in Illinois. Crazy to me that some of these lines are just like they just nowhere where anything is staying free, and so it just goes like they merge and then go outflow dominant like to make these shelves. I mean, even like where the bases started to look good, and then it just totally that one that we were just on just totally dumped into a big wind bag. 2.5 miles, it wouldn't go south. We're gonna see something today. Don't know what, where, don't know when. We're not gonna see it on this road, but Molina. It's a regular exit, so I can flip around. I'm not saying that Wisconsin has better roads than Illinois, but Wisconsin has better roads than Illinois. It's funny because there's so much potential in the air that these things like start to form and then base up and everything. And then right when they start to look good, they merge and then like even this one here like looks decent, but there's storms all the way around it, and it's just a like flow massive divergence. Definitely can knock some trees down though. I'll take your trees out. 65-mile-an-hour winds. Bring your trampolines inside, kids. Yay, we get to turn around. We're on the bottom part of where the heck city we're in, Peoria, or where are we? Davenport? I don't know. What cities? Anything west, east. I need to go east. I just want to get off and turn around. I think this is the one that does the double loopity doo, if I remember right. I've done that. I've done this dance before. 77. I can remember how to do this now. Got a loop de loo and then loop de loo. What? Right back around. Backwards NASCAR. And people from Illinois. Too bad never catch up to that before it lifts. 313 fires in 4 hours. That one by Henry, that looks really dangerous, guys. You just got to shoot south. You just got to get going south. As nice of a detour as that was. Again, so that's just a big, that's a divergence though. I think that despite everybody else, the thing to do is to go as far east as we can. I guess we could just run this east until we find a good storm to go south on. What this guy's down here. I'm not sure. These two things have been dancing here for quite a while and just not making it into a line. I don't know. There's definitely starting to be a couplet there. I think we got to pursue that. This is on our way to going that far east, anyways. I would be Atkinson, Atkinson, Illinois. I That's kind of a. This doesn't look too populated. Geneseo. I'm not sure what's going on. Osco, Atkinson. I would. This is starting to. It's either going to line up and be like a lot of wind, like really a lot of wind, or a couplets forming, and we'll have a tornado develop here. It's gonna. I'm gonna be going 80 miles an hour at it. right towards the area of. I can't tell exactly if it's like an area of divergence or if these things are converging together and going to make a stronger cell because it's not attached to the northern line of storms. I think once we get out of these trees, I think there must be a river here. I just want to go. I just want to go 80 east towards Chicago. Let's turn my GPS off. Thing's got a good top on it. It just doesn't have the structure of what we would normally think about for a supercell type tornado. Just kind of look at a couple more scans here. I think it's divergence. I think these two things are just interacting goofy, but hey, we're here with nothing else to do, right? Whoopsie doopsie. I think it's just turning into a line. Marietta. These are just big areas of outflow. Go through that area if it's not producing. And that is a perfect supercell. Oh, Tosca, Vienna. Man, that's what I was looking for, but it is way south. We didn't put a MD out just for that cell. 30 people over there. The velocities look like garbage. And we'll get out in front of it, give it some time. Fortunately, that means we got to punch through some heavy rain. Atkinson. Nifty looking shelf. This garbage rotation. Base. This thing's got to be scooting by, like, it's making time on me. Jeepers. The explosive atmosphere that has turned into explosion of windbags. Still separate from the main storm, but it's like it's, I don't know, at this point, it's like waves of diverging winds. Semi trucks. So I don't really like being by them when you're going into this kind of wind. It's not good inflow. It's just like not twisting. Doesn't have that vorticity. I don't know what's going on there, but we can get a good look at it at least. I mean, there's a lowering there. When's our next exit? There's no, maybe, but it's just so messy. It's got like major heat flow. Fucking wind flow here. I think they make this a severe thunderstorm at least. Jeepers. If it wasn't going to be so heavily wrapped in rain, you'd never see it. I'm just gonna keep going east. No, we're okay. Skin's falling, but ooh, pressure drop. Big time. I think we just play the long game, go as fast as we can to Winston and south. If we can get out of this rain, we might make up some time. We can get a pressure drop there. We might be getting out ahead of a decent storm, actually. Wow, that humidity level change. This thing's starting to look like it's gonna not. I don't know. That's weird. And that whole storm, it's just a big storm north. This is actually not turning into being so bad. We're gonna just going, but I think we got a couple starting to form here. Maybe out ahead of it here. I think they need to take this seriously. Starting to develop a hook. We can get as far east as we can here while this thing decides what it's going to do. I think I want to play long, so because this stuff is moving so fast east, I just want to get out ahead of it a little bit. This thing just can't make up its mind what it wants to do. The long game is painful. to figure out. It's going at 35 miles an hour. How fast is this going? 40. So we're only gaining 20 miles an hour on this stuff. 40 miles an hour. I think this thing's staying the way it's staying. There's multiple areas of rotation. So the next opportunity that I get to drop south, I'm going to drop south because I don't think it's achievable. What is this? You know, Highway 40. It's crazy to look in the mirror at the storm behind us. It could be something if it wanted to be, but it's just not. Like it's just not pulling it together. But we're gonna stay going east for a while until we get to 40. I don't think that this highway is. Man, you're getting rocked by some of that wind. It's not sure. 78. This is going to be a make or break decision. You got to go through town. But this storm is going north right now. It's just to the south of us. It keeps getting warned. I think it's going into. I'm going to make the decision to take the bait, I guess, and drop south. That stuff to the north of me is just garbage. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go into the rurals. This will be make or break for the day. This is either going to make a great day or break our day entirely. It's going to really depend on how many little towns we got to deal with between now and then. With that thing being weird and going straight north, it's got me intrigued. And if I need another east west, I can take right into that other storm if necessary. But either way, I've got to get south. So 40 miles an hour, 55. They were just happy to get rid of her. I think he was lining out too. I think that was my break. Per period. Turn one of the air conditioners on in there to let it cool down, and she can have hold down space there. On track super slow. We're in a good position if anything else fires off. In between these two, we can shoot either way. I'm really shooting south right now, just based off of the mesoscale discussion and what I'm seeing on the radar and velocity. It's a little messy, but I think they're gonna continue to form, and some of these are just gonna plant. So I just need to get south, which would be a lot easier if I can get around this set of vehicles here. But I'm gonna get going through town here. This is Kiwani coming up. It's 34. Every time I can't get around them. They call it. Tornado chasing instead of tornado catching. Come in on this side of it. I'm gonna have to cut east again, but without that highway, there is a highway there, right? Yeah. Just eat down to that highway. This is a cute little town for Illinois. Get through with these morons, and they'll turn, and life will be good. I think this thing is gonna fire off at the end of this thing. It's going north. Come on, past him, dude. You can go the speed limit to go past him. Name of that town. Brimfield. Brimfield, Illinois. Please don't give me crap. This weird. Whew. Glad he decided not to pull me over. Sure, that was the day. That was the deal. Local cop came flying up on me. I was going 9 over. Feel like I feel like he's gonna come and sneak around on 100th Avenue here. I just want to get myself. Darn, this map drives me nuts when it does that. I'm just gonna take 78. I just want to get to 74, and I think the lead cell is gonna break off and is going to. Yeah, they're already warning it that way. Yeah, this is. They warned that one that was north of me that we saw earlier that I abandoned to go south. But this mess the year that front cell breaks loose. To pee like you wouldn't believe. You would think I would learn and like just learn better, but starting to see the interaction of that storm. These other storms and up, they're starting to go up in height. The great thing is I have no idea where I am. Never been here before, but part of this that I love is the like seeing new places. Maybe my wife and I would someday call home. Well, this is when it gets like when you get into rural areas like this, it's just so beautiful. It reminds me of my home, Goshen, Indiana, where I spent a lot of my youth. Uh, some of this other stuff that's going up is crazy. See that when they do that, that drives me nuts. Like I don't know how you're calling that a tornado warning. Like there's a little tiny bit of rotation in that storm that we left it up north. And there, this some of these other storms, if we can get down to see, this is why you don't want to be late. You don't want a late start because you can't plan everything out. And they get areas where there's no data. If we can just make it to 74, and I don't know, Peoria is in the spotlight here. I think I think anybody who's watching this lead cell, if this breaks off, I mean, there's some serious rotation there. If that breaks off, that's Peoria. I mean, that's serious. We start to see the CGs up there. They're going to lose data, definitely. I think there must be 1,000 chasers on this thing. I can just see the pull in the data because I got full bars, but like zero data. So my stream is going to be junk. Stream is going to be garbage. I'm sorry about that. Going to cut in and out a lot. Um, One is I got to engage this thing, and I really have to be. And I've had to since I can't remember when. I could put that under the seat. I'm going to gauge this thing on. This just sucks. See that notch forming with that lead cell. Oh, please don't be a cop. Thank you, Jesus. 74 will take us right there. We're just about to get into it. Dude, come on. Make any sense? Where the heck is 180? Is this it? No. East or what? Sure, that will go somewhere. I can get this direction. Here are my maps. The road grids. I need my grids. How does this go over to 81? Yes. Long game. Long game. One go. Yes. It was needing to make up some ground here. I'm gonna go to 91 to start. Just need to get east so I can get south. And keep me popo free. That would be awesome. What's the name of the road I wanted to get onto? I think the name of the road was that 1050. Yeah, that's where I want to go. Just about smoke the bunny. To hit that lead cell, that thing's going to produce. We got that one turn tornado warning just to the north of us. Hard to believe. Just these little rivers you got to take into account when you're mapping stuff out. Mile, 10 seconds. Stop. 3, 2, 1. I'm a little off on my timing. Hang on.